This is the Roulette Master, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe by hitting the red subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Also ring that bell for notifications because I have new content releasing every single day of the week at 9 a.m. I hope everyone enjoyed the video yesterday on the Unicorn system by Joe and Barnes. I thought it was fantastic, and I have a modification for you today to go ahead and try as well. And that modification is going to start out by spinning without betting until you see a third 12 and then a first 12 back to back. So let's try that starting out. And that's the first step of the modification. Okay, so we're going to spin until we get third 12 and then first 12. Because that's what seems to be the dagger for the system. Although I think it's great. I think this could just give you a leg up. And then there's another piece to it here shortly. And I'll share that with you. And then another way of doing this also is if you're playing in a table in a casino, you look for the third 12 and then the first 12 combo on the screen before you start. But this way you would just spin until you have a third and then a first. And I think we got it finally. And we did. So we got a third followed by a first. So that would be the kiss of death with this system. If you didn't see the one yesterday, stage 1 starts with first and second 12, and then you spin. And if you win, you keep betting. If you lose, you go to stage 2, and I'll cover that again. Okay, so let's spin again. And remember what the numbers were, 33 and 7. When we went third 12, first 12. And now we're getting some wins in a row. We're up $20. Okay, we won again. So now we're up $30. We just rebet. Okay, another win. Now we're at $40. Another win. We're up 50. Once we get a loss here, I'll show you stage 2 again, and then also the second part of the modification. Okay, we're up 60. And I played this system last night for hours and hours, trying to see how much it would be ahead, and worked really well. I did have some of the busts, but it made up for it by the number that I won. So that's just something you have to overcome. And for those of you watching this for the first time, you'll know what I'm talking about once we get to the second stage here. We're up $80. We've been pretty fortunate so far. But still remember what those numbers were when we started this, which was 33 and 7. Won again. So we're up $90. Another win. Wow. All right, let's keep going until we get a loss so I can show you this modification. And for those of you that didn't see the first video, what stage 2 is like. Again, this is the Unicorn system by Joe and Barnes. Wow, we're getting pretty lucky today. We're up 110 already. All right, we won again. Hopefully we'll get a third 12 here soon so I can show you. We're up 120. Because losses will only come with third 12, and then that takes you to stage 2. Okay, there we go. So this is the second part of the modification as well. Remember, 7 was 33 and 7 when we started, and now we're going to stage 2, which is to put 6 units. Again, we started with a $10 unit on each of first and second. Now we have 6 $10 units on second and third, and then 2 units of 10 each on the 4 corners. The second part of the modification is, remember when we started the sequence it was 33 and 7, so we want to make sure that the 7 is not one of the numbers that we're betting on. So if that number happened to be 3 or 6, this would be okay, but if it happened to be something that we're betting on, then you'd want to not make that one of the 8 numbers you're betting on. So let's just keep playing and I'll show you. And the reason this is stage 2 of this system is because if you win, then it recoups all the losses from stage 1 and then you restart. So now we're back up 120 and then you go back to stage 1. So once you recoup your losses on stage 2, you go back to stage 1. And so again, the modifications were, number 1, spin until you see a third followed by a first 12. And then remember what those are. And then once you finally have a loss, we're up 130 now. Once you finally have a loss, you go to stage 2. And you make sure that that number, in that case 7, is not one of the ones that you're betting on. So I think the first part of the modification is the most important part, which is the waiting for a third 12 followed by a first, because when I was playing last night using this, it didn't happen very often when I had a bust, but it did occasionally happen, and then I made up for it. So, okay, there was another loss, so we're going to stage 2. Again, we put 6 units on second 12 and third 12. Then we put 2 units of 10 on those 4 corners. And then you go ahead and spin. And then this, if you win, it recoups the losses from first stage. And it did win. So then we go back to stage 1. Now we're up $140. And again, you can use this system also with smaller size units as long as you stick to the unit. So, you know, you could use dollars or $10 or even $100 units if you would like, because you're not going to hit the table maximum, because if you lose in second stage, you're just going to go back to first stage and try to make it back up. So you could start with $100 units, but I'm using 10 today. You could use dollar units. Whatever your budget allows you to do. Okay. So we're up 160 now. We're going to rebet. But I thought the thing that was really cool was, at first I thought when I busted using this system, since, like in this case, you'd lose, I think, $160, I thought I was in trouble. But then time after time after time, I won so many times in a row that it made up for those, because they didn't happen very often. That's when I decided that this modification would be even better, to wait for a third followed by a first to get it out of the way, and then go ahead and start. And I also think a third modification could be that once you get up a certain amount, that, and we just go into second stage here again, once you get up a certain amount, you sit out and spin until you see another third followed by a first. So in this case, we could bust here on a third followed by a first, but if we had had that at 150, like when we were up 150, said, well, we're going to wait until we get a third followed by a first before we start again, that'd be another great modification. But let's see if we need it. And we didn't need it. So let's make that third modification, that once you get up $200, or the amount of units, which that'd be 20 units. Once you get up 20 units, you sit out and you wait for a third followed by a first before you go again. And one thing I left out of the original Joe and Barnes this system, which is very important, is that he did say that once you got up 20 units, that would be your stop win. So let's keep going. And then and when I say Joe and Barnes, it's the Joe and Barnes unicorn, because there also is another JS21 Joe and Barnes system you should check out if you haven't seen it. So we're up 200. So if we add the third modification in, that would be, now we would stop when we're up 20 units. Don't bet until we get a third followed by a first. And then every time you get up 200 bucks, you do the same thing. And then that gives you a little bit of a break, and it makes sure that you don't end up hitting the third followed by the first. So let's keep spinning. So there's a third. So let's see if this works out for us. It'd be great to see a first 12 now and miss it. Oh my goodness. So the third modification did work. See what happened there? And now you would start again. Remember that we hit the 1, and that we're going to have to make sure that that 1 is not included in what we bet in. So now we go back to first stage. Again, we're up 200. But when we go to second stage, we're going to leave the 1 out of that. And that just saved us $160 by waiting. So now we're going to second stage. And then remember, we're going to put 2 units on the corners. And we need to pick 2 that does not include the 1, which is how we started this. And then we obviously put our 6 units on second and third. So yeah, that third modification just saved us a lot of money. Let's see what happened there though. Oh, but then we got hit again. So actually, if we had played it the way it was designed, actually we wouldn't have lost. So it's up to you if you want to use the third modification. Because if we had stuck with the way that the unicorn works, which is to go on these 2, we still would have won there. So it's up to whether you want to use that third modification. The most important one is the first one, which is waiting for a third followed by a first before you start. And so once you lose in second stage, you can see we dropped all the way back to up $20. You go back to stage 1 and you start all over. You don't try to get all your money back right away. So we lost there, so we go to second stage. Oh, so that's 6 on each. And then we'll stick with the ones that we did on that last one. But just so you know, the ones that are designed for the system are the ones that are opposite of this one, which is this one and that one. But I think you could do it either way. And that covers 32 numbers. So there we won, and we got back what we had lost in first stage. And then you just start back to stage 1 again. And the main thing is you still want to cash out whenever you're happy with the amount of winnings that you've had. And we lost first stage. Now we're going back to second. Again, that's 6 units on second, 6 units on third. And then, well, we were doing these ones this time because the 1 had hit. And then we spin. And we won. We got back what we lost in first stage. And then we're back to trying to make some money in first stage again. Okay, back to stage 2. 6 units. And let's see if we can get back what we lost there. And we did. Alright, then you go back to stage 1 again. And what I was finding out doing this last night was, sure, it seems bad when you do bust, but you eventually do make it back. And I did over 1,000 spins with this, so overall, I kept seeing profit. And you just got to get on a roll, getting wins in first and second. We're back up 40 again. I think the biggest modification of all this is just the waiting for the third followed by the first 12 before you start. So focus on that as the biggest modification from today. Again, we have 6 units. We're on stage 2 right now, 6 units. And then 2 units on the 2 corners. We'll see if we can get back what we lost in stage 1 again. And we did. And that's the real beauty of this system, created by Joe and Barnes, 2 guys that have been really working hard on coming up with great roulette systems, and admire them for that. And I'm really glad they share their systems with the channel, and really is great that everybody can see what they come up with. All right, we're back to stage 2 again. And let's see if we can get back what we just lost in stage 1. And we did. Then we go back to stage 1. And you just keep going with it. And I wasn't sure at first, but after about 1,000 spins, and I noticed I had overall profit last night, I was like, man, this really is a good system. And I know it gets scary when you get dinged on the 32 numbers, but it really does. The number of wins that you get, combined with the fact that most of the time when you lose in stage 1, you get it back in stage 2, it's pretty cool. All right. Now we're up 70 again. So even though we lost that 160, we're still up $70. We won again. And it's always nice, too, to walk after a bunch of wins in the first and second 12. And 0 in this pretty much is the same as a loss on third 12. So then you go to second stage and you try to recover it. And most of the time it does. We'll see if it does here. And it did. All right, we got our money back we lost in first stage. We're back up 80. Now we're up 90. See if we can get to 100 here. All right, now we're back up 100, even after losing the $160. So I hope you liked the modification today of waiting for a third followed by a first 12 before you get started, and then I really do think this is a great system. Get some reps in before you try it in the casino, and I hope you really enjoy it. Thank you again to Joe and Barnes for coming up with another great system, and love to hear from you guys what you think down in the comments. Please send your systems in as well. That's the fun thing about this channel, is seeing all the new systems every day that people send in. And I couldn't do it without you guys. You pretty much drive the channel by sending in your great ideas, and then I love your feedback as well after the videos are posted. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that red subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Also ring that bell for notifications, because I have new content releasing every single day of the week at 9 a.m. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day.